Hello, everybody, and welcome to Deep Rooted Podcast, sponsored by Midnight Entertainment. I'm your host, Dominick Powell. I'm here with my castmates. What we're going to do now, we're going to introduce everybody, let you know our backstories and what we're doing, what to reach us on. To the left of me, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ornella. I was born in Cameroon, Central Africa. I came to the U.S. About 8 years ago now. I'm a student at Temple University, pre-health major, but an activist at heart. So I'm here today.
My brother.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Marquise. You can follow me on Instagram as YC_610. I do music. I'm a self-made business owner. I have a website, online retail store called merkababrothers.com. That's spelled MERKHABABROS.com. I'm an ex-Marine. I did 4 years in the military from 2009 to 2013. Did a couple tours, traveled the world, been to Japan, Germany, a few other places, and then came back home. I guess you could say I am a veteran now. I suffer from PTSD, so that's kind of another thing I'm working on. I kind of want to get that out there more so to the public, and get people more into learning about mental health and mental illnesses, and start looking for solutions. And, that's a little bit about me. But you can reach out, DM me or whatever. We could talk, and that's about it.
Alright, little sis.
Hi, my name is Aisha. I'm actually a medical assistant, soon to be certified. Right about now, I'm just doing a little bit of work in the medical field, and I plan to go back for my RN certification. And I actually want to open up a business, and more talks will be coming along with that. Oh, yeah, and I'm also from Philly. So.
And again, I'm Dominick. I'm the CEO of Midnight Entertainment. You can find us on Facebook at Midnight Entertainment LLC, as well as on Instagram, same thing, Midnight Entertainment LLC. Is MID-NIGHT Entertainment LLC. Reach out to me. We're a comic book company that also does clothing and graphic design. So if ever you need a design made, you can holler at us. If ever you're looking for new fashion and stuff, we got a little merchandise going on and stuff. So I'll post links to our Teesprings as well as where you can all reach us at. All right, we're back with Deep Rooted Podcast. This is your host again, Dominick Powell. So I want to ask everybody a little more questions about why they've chose to pursue what they're pursuing. So you can learn us more and we can get to know each other more. I'll start with my little sister.
All right.
Putting you on the spot.
Well, basically, the medical field, I've always had an interest for it. But I don't really think that, I plan on stopping once I do hit the RN, but I feel like that's just a step for me. And it's also going to provide the money for me to actually branch off and do the businesses or franchises that I do want to open.
I don't understand why people stop at RN anyway.
I wouldn't. I feel like once you get to that point, you should definitely, never stop working on yourself. That's one of the things that I believe in.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, because when it comes to, as far as what I see in Philly, a lot of people become RNs, but they really don't branch out.
They don't do something else.
Yeah.
No, I do I want to be some type of surgeon, but I just feel like I would have to get over the fear. But I feel like RN is the next step for me since I'm finished with my medical.
I think that's definitely something we need to see more often, black surgeons, neurosurgeons and things like that. Not therapeutical.
And
massage.
Originally, that was the plan. I didn't want to be a neurologist, but it kind of scared me because you mess up in the brain, someone can be paralyzed for life or even die.
Yeah.
So then I changed it from neurology to the cardiology because I actually like how the heart operates. But I don't know. I think I just like the human body, and I find it interesting everything that it does. So that's one of the reasons why I got into the field.
That's very important. Like, this is what we had. This is all we had.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
It's your life right there.
Exactly.
Your temple.
We're born with this. We're supposed to take care of it and know what's going on with ourselves.
Exactly.
So if you're not taking care of your temple, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And that also seems to what we're putting in our body, what we're ingesting, what we're eating. Because a lot of stuff is harmful for us now. Yeah, it's passed by the CDC, but it's not healthy for us.
Everything they add to the food and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they allow a certain amount of different stuff in the food anyway, so you can never know what's really safe for you.
Great.
Unless you grow it yourself.
Yeah.
Then that's
It's
still,
important.
and then that's still
Then they're gonna
up
come
in the
with
air. 'Cause you
legal
don't know
issues.
what they doing to the
The air.
ground,
The
And the
soil,
water.
yeah.
the water, yeah.
The chemicals that's being put in the soil, the chemicals that's being put in the water and everything.
It's over 20 chemicals in tap water.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it is like medicine, like medicines that you'll find like in the pharmacy and stuff like that.
Really?
Barium.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why in some places you really can't drink the tap water.
Yeah.
Like there's a listing that shows the cities that you're not supposed to drink the tap water simply because of what they put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've already seen the effects of what happened if you drink plant water.
Yeah.
It's
And it's still
poisonous.
bad. Still bad.
Mm-hmm. And it's been going for years too. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah. Like that's one thing that we all need to actually get together and think of a solution on. There is a lot of people that's doing things for it and stuff. An example, Jaden Smith has actually been supplying them with water from his own company and stuff. The company that he has, he's been supplying them with clean drinking water and water for them to cook with and bathe with and stuff. That's helping out. But other than that, it's our job to actually look out for everyone else also.
Exactly.
Even though it's not happening to us, we still need to reach out and reach out and give a hand, because that means a lot.
Absolutely.
But next, my brother, I want to ask you, what made you pursue what you're pursuing as far as music, talking about mental health and everything.
I always had a love for music, just as far back as I can remember. I can just remember just being in the house watching MTV raps at 3 years old, and my mom yelling at me it's 11 o'clock. What are you doing? So I was always into rap and music. This is all music in general, because I didn't know about BET or nothing like that. Back then, I don't even think BET was around, and if it was, I damn sure didn't know about it at 3-4 years old. I was watching MTV all the time, so I was so I was MTV raps. I used to see Beastie Boys all the time.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of Madonna videos, Michael Jackson videos.
It was a VH1 also, because I used to
Yeah.
tune into the VH1 Island Soul and stuff like that when I was younger and stuff. So music back then
So
was
yeah,
just beautiful.
So then just going from that to Rap City, the basement, and then just in my teenage years, that's when Philly rap really became crazy. Everybody start everybody start getting popping, everybody start getting hot. That's when we had the Reed Dollars and then Meek and all that stuff, and then they took off. So I was always into music, but the military, that was just a serious unfortunate event. So when I joined, there was the recession had hit, so it was no jobs. I think I was 20. Yeah,
So you joined there looking for a way to be able to provide for yourself. And
and I think at that time I needed structure.
Yeah.
Because I was just running the streets, and then at that point in time, a lot of people probably not thinking like that, but it's I'm either going to end up in jail or dead. I gotta do something with myself.
Right.
I'm doing a bunch of craziness, and I don't want to do this to my family no more. So it's just why don't you join the military?
You seen value in yourself and what you want to do.
Absolutely. So I joined that, but It is what it is. It's good times and bad times. Definitely was more good times than bad, but like, you know, just war and just violence and stuff like that. It does things to people, like, and
You've seen the ugly side.
I've seen crazy things. I've definitely seen the best and the worst in the world, like, so, like, and you know, like, you'll never, I honestly could say, like, I'll never be the same from that, like, but, like, I don't think anybody would be. So, like, you know, me going through, you know, what I've been going through, like, you know, since I got out 2013, so it's been 6 years. So, it's like the readjustment to civilian life, you know. At one point, I was just, like, super antisocial, like, I couldn't go to restaurants. If I did, I had to be sitting in the corner booth looking at the door. Like, it was real crazy, like. So, like, you know, just me just having to, like, find myself again, and then, like, understanding, like, I'm not the only one that's going through this, like, and I want to help people because, like, it's hard. Like, it took me 4 years to just come out and be comfortable enough to talk to other people about it. So, like, that's one thing I want to help people with, like, and, you know.
And that helps, like, you know, having someone that you, like, that's speaking about these issues that you can connect with, because a lot of people, I know they feel the same exact way.
Yeah,
so
because
being able to, like, you know, come out and sit here and speak your truth and everything.
Yeah,
you know,
and then, like, that's another thing, because I feel as though I'm a very relatable person to just, like, the era that we live in, or, like, just people going through issues. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I feel as though, like, I can relate to a lot of people, like, whether, like, there be men, women, like, we all go through the things that we go through in life, but, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I've been through a majority of the things a lot of people have been through. So, like, you know what I mean, if I can do anything, I can, like, try to help you cope with it, or, like, even better, like, let's find a solution to, like, make both of our lives better.
Right.
And I definitely, like, that's definitely one thing I definitely want to work on. Like, because especially, like, in our communities, like, mental health is just, like, it's like a taboo.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to talk about it.
Exactly, yeah. Like, and that's something that, like, we speak on a lot of times, like, you know, especially, like, you know, with our background and stuff, mental health is something that's, like, you know, that was a big factor in our lives and stuff, because we have family members that, you know, we've been around 24/7 that actually deal with it, and we really never understood what was going on with them. And then at the same time, they couldn't really tell us what was going on with them. So, you know, it either, like, you know, made or broke the relationship.
Right.
So, like, you know, it helps actually being able to figure out, you know, what's going on and how to be able to, like, let people around you know about it and how you can sit here.
It definitely really does, because yeah, it definitely does, because I definitely messed up, like, a lot of, like, relationships because of it. You know, just because, like, you know, the unfamiliarity of, like, the feelings that you're going through, and then, like, people not understanding, like, why you feel the way that you feel, the mood swings, the anxiety, you know, the depression, like, people not understanding that it's like, you know what, I'm gonna just fall back from him because, like, I mean, I don't know what's going on, or he's crazy, I don't want to deal with them. Like,
people generally, like, alienate you, or you separate yourself from them.
Yeah.
But that's because, like, you know, growing up, especially in the black community, like, you can't really talk to your parents or your family about depression, because they'll, like, be like, oh, you're too young for that, or you don't know what that feeling is. Like, I feel like if more people actually, like, took more time to actually understand what someone is going through, then that would kind of dissolve some of the issues. Because if you're going through something, especially at the time, like, you're not going to really feel like talking about it too much, but people around you should understand also, you know. Because,
like, the whole Flint, Michigan thing, like, you know, people literally, like, they don't step outside of themselves enough, where, you know, they generally look at other people's problems as, like, you know, it's not happening to me,
right?
So I shouldn't be worrying about it, I shouldn't care.
And
but
that's the problem.
Like, that's a big problem. Like, everyone should actually do that, because not only are you sitting here and you're reaching out to the person that, you know, is going through some shit, but you're making, like, you're letting them know someone cares.
Exactly. Because it's a lot of people, they're like, okay, well, I don't live in Michigan, I don't live in that state, I don't live in that city, But if it was happening to you, you want that same compassion.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to kind of.
I'm definitely like a firm believer in like when people be like, "Oh, that's not my problem." Like I'm a firm believer like on some level and some aspect or perspective, like it is your problem. Like no matter what it is, like I just feel like that. Like no matter like I mean, especially like with things like the Flint, Michigan thing, like because like what if it like everybody would made it their problem and everybody actually helped instead of the few people that like you know what I mean whether they was like wealthy or like I mean if you didn't have the money you actually like I mean put I mean boots on the ground and actually helped out them people and stuff
that's
like
a problem that can be easily solved. Like you know with enough people,
absolutely.
like enough people behind it. It's like and that's the thing when it comes to a movement, enough people behind it, you could shake mountains.
Yeah.
Like, look how far we've come as black people.
Yeah.
So that's something that we can definitely solve.
Yeah.
We just got to come together on it.
And there's not like, we need like we need 4 millionaires and you know these people to send us food and all. No, you don't need that. Like all you need is a bunch of people that like actually want to help and like actually have a solution and are working towards a solution.
Agreed.
Come up with a plan. That's how I feel about like stuff that happens back home. Back home, I mean, it's Cameroon or Africa in general. People are usually quick to say, "Oh, that's Africa. You know, it's not our problem. It's not happening here, so it doesn't affect us." But if you look at it from a health perspective, which is my field, also, I feel like if, for example, there's an Ebola outbreak, like there is right now in the Democratic Republic of Congo, it only takes one person flying from the Congo to the U.S. For it to be in the U.S. and then it's everybody's problem, you know. So
yeah,
going
because
back
it seemed like that was the only time that they really made like the expression the carrot when it actually came into the U.S. But you know, I feel like the people, us and Africa, we're still connected because look at our skin, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just our skin, there's a lot of traditions that we still have and everything. Like, yeah, when the slave trade happened, we lost a sense of identity and, you know, we were like, you know, heck that by the roots.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things that we still do now, you know, that's our motherland. Like, that's still ingrained in us.
Yeah. I was just now I was looking up my ancestor and then I turned to him and I said, "Isn't it crazy how I'm like able to I can go on Google and Google Bamoun Kingdom and that is my whole ancestry, but you guys who were born here aren't able to do that. You can't trace back to your roots, and that's something that I never really thought about.
It's a little harder because you know a lot of people have been lied to about their, you know what I mean, their roots or their families and stuff, like what your family was doing, like because I remember like I thought like most of my family like lived up here, and you know. But like most of my family's from like Churchill, Maryland, and like they fought in like the Geechee Wars and the Gullah Wars and stuff. Like they was like, so like that changed, like that right there just kind of like changed the whole narrative of like what my family was doing, like in my eyes, but like cause like you know they tell us like you know you go to school, you like I mean majority of you guys were slaves, like you come from slaves and all that other stuff, but like they don't tell you about the Gullah Wars. They don't tell you they don't tell you Native Americans were actually like black people. Like,
the first people that they encountered was actually us, the so-called copper-colored Indians.
Yeah, like, it's just crazy. And then like just people even telling you that like like the Native Americans, black people were different people. Like that messes up like. Even just how you just think of yourself and like your culture, like.
Because little do we know, like when it came to you know the African descent natives and you know the natives that were here on this continent, they actually had a great relationship.
Yeah.
But through colonialism, they ended up separating that. So. One thing I do want to like you know talk about real quick, like I met this brother when we used to work at Target, and like I came in the break room one day, like yo, me and him, we just had like similar energy, and I came in the break room one day and I seen him like doing like holistic health, like with herbal medicine and everything. Like,
yeah.
Tell them how you got introduced to that.
Yeah, I don't know, just like I'm just a real just inquisitive person. Like I just like learning new things. Like I like reading, like surprisingly. Like but I definitely like reading like about just different stuff and then just getting into like just listening to different like people, dialoguing with people, talking about health and stuff. And then like one of my good friends, like one of my older friends, he actually has a colon cancer or some kind of cancer in his stomach right now. So like that was another reason that like actually got me into like me learning about herbal health and like herbal medicinal medicines and stuff, alkaline diets, or the vegan diet as white people call it, I guess. But yeah, like just reading about that and saying like you can just pretty much reverse any disease just by changing your diet and
which like me, my sister, and my brother, we tried the vegan. We didn't try. We actually did the vegan diet, and you actually feel better once you begin to cut meats and like anything with harmful chemicals, anything that's GMO out of your diet. You actually put your body in a state of repair.
Yeah, because I always used to think that you always was gonna feel sluggish after anything that you ate, but that like
it's the meat.
It is the meat. The meat feels so heavy on you. Like if you eat, you can eat a whole bunch of stuff, like a whole veggie-based meal, and you won't feel sluggish or tired or like you need to lay down and take a nap.
You feel more energized.
Yeah, and I noticed that, especially like doing it for over a month. And that's why I actually wanted to get back to that.
It moves through your body way easier, like faster. Like anytime like you start eating like real good like that, it's like I always gotta go to the bathroom. Like I was like that like when I first started. Yeah. I always going to the bathroom. Like I don't understand. Like I ain't never had to go to the bathroom this much. Like, but it's just the way that you eat. And then like I started like reading up on like eating red meat mixed with bread. Then it creates like a doughy glue substance, and it's like sticks to the inside of your like intestines.
Right.
All those
and it's just like that's just not good, and it just sits in it sits there for like days, like inside your
large intestine. First off, we have to bring into consideration that a lot of the meats that we get, whether it's like the beef, the chicken, the pork, the lamb, the goat. All that is already like days old. All that is already in this decomposing process.
Even if you go to the market and you look at the meat and it's red, like real beef is not red.
No.
But they don't tell you that. Nobody tells you like.
Exactly. I actually saw a video where they took the meat and they rolled it in blood like on a cutting board to give it the color.
Yeah.
Really?
Because people, they see blood, they think it's fresher.
But all right, everyone. Going on break. We'll be back with you shortly, okay?
Midnight Entertainment merchandise available now. Link in the description below to check out our new line of phone cases for both Android and iPhones. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.
All right, so Nelly, give us your why. Why did you choose to pursue what you're doing?
Okay, so first, my goal is to become a gynecologist, so let me just put that out there because I think I said I was a pre-medicine major, but I didn't really specify what I was studying, so gynecology is my field. The reason why I chose to pursue it is because I grew up in a country where women and children are basically the minority of America, and are treated very poorly, not given the proper care. So I wanted to do something to remedy that, and actually becoming a gynecologist is only the first step in my plan, because I would like to create a non-profit organization that actually caters to women and children.
Okay.
It's called, right now the name is Safe Haven Foundation. But I feel like the more I learn, the more knowledge I acquire, it's eventually gonna change. So don't quote me on that one. Yeah, so that's the reason why I decided to go into gynecology, because in order to create my company, I'm going to need money. So I decided to study that. My plan is like it's like a 10-year plan. Like, first I'm gonna get this degree, start working in my field, and eventually, eventually I'm gonna create my organization. And I'm not only hoping that it's going to be located in Cameroon. I'm hoping to expand to other parts of Africa where women basically have no rights. And the things that motivate me on the daily is, for example, for one of my classes, we were watching all these videos about child marriage and these young girls being married to old men at 9 and conceiving at 12, and their bodies just not being able to bear all that because they're not ready for it.
Right.
So that's one thing that recently was hard. It was hard to watch, but it is the reality. So
you didn't die during childbirth, right?
Yeah, and not only that, there's also female genital mutilation. Where they just cut
That's
out.
really heartbreaking. I actually looked into that.
Yeah, and I actually did my junior thesis on that in high school. So you can imagine a bunch of high school kids, their faces after me presenting, white kids, after me presenting, and I had some visuals also. I tried not to be too graphic, but there was only so much I can do with that topic, you know. So I just felt like it was something that I had to put out there. Unfortunately, it still happens, but I'm blessed enough to have made it through intact. So, yeah, that's something that I also want to eventually impact or stop from happening. So, yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that you are kind of touching on that topic, because, I know that it's not common here, but I did hear that it was maybe not as common, but it's
And they say that if you don't do that the video I watched, for example, the mother, the white lady that was interviewing the girl said that she asked, did you have to go through that? Was it painful? And they were like, hell yeah, it was painful.
Like coming into adulthood.
And then and they said that
thing.
and they said that if they didn't do it, they wouldn't be pure, they wouldn't be virgins, which was kind of confusing. That part was confusing. And the lady also asked, will you do it to your daughter? And she was like, yeah, I'll do it myself. So after saying that it was painful and everything, she was still like, I have to, I'm going to do it so that my family could be honored and she can marry and all that. So it's just a lot of cultural things that need to be a lot of those things don't make any sense.
It needs to be brought up to date.
Yeah, exactly.
They need to be educated and everything on it.
And I'm from
that shit sounds like evil on a certain level.
Yeah, and I also feel like a lot of that stems from a majorly patriarchal society, because if you think about it, taking away a woman's clitoris is taking away her ability to feel and experience pleasure during sexual intercourse. So that plays an important factor, and the fact that they actually believe that if they don't do that, they won't be pure. You have to wonder what made them.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand that logic at all.
Because I can't even say that's how circumcision is for guys. Because that's completely different.
All that circumcision is taking off the
skin. That's just literally, genital mutilation.
But to cut off the clitoris, that would be like chopping off the whole tip of your penis.
Yeah.
And there are 3 stages to that. The first one, I think.
3 stages?
Yeah. Because some women it's partially removed. Some women it's semi-partially removed, and some women it's completely gone. So they sew both of the lips together, and that whole section is just gone. All you are is a baby making machine. And the way it's done, it's like inhumane, like no anesthesia, no sanitation. It's just a blade, and they cut it, and you just somehow heal. If you don't make it, oh well, because some women actually die from that. And you're talking about little girls, like I think the earliest age I've heard was 6, and they have to go through that, deal with that pain, and it's just a lot,
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, yep. That's some of the things that I would like to address going forward when I actually create my company and everything.
Yeah, like I think it's very important to introduce the education of what that's actually doing. And then one thing that we'll end up talking about a lot is the solutions for how to progress, how to move forward, but education is key. And being able to bring that to people, to let them know we understand that it's something that you've done culturally, traditionally, but this is actually what's happening when you do it.
And it's not that these people don't understand. Obviously, they know the risks and stuff. It's more so holding on to beliefs that are just detrimental, and them refusing to see that.
Their belief of it being more righteous than it doing damage it supersedes. It's so righteous that we don't care how bad we hurt these women because it's such a righteous thing that we're doing. But
that's the thing.
In reality,
how can, I don't want to question anyone's belief, but in my opinion, how can it be righteous to sit here and mutilate and do this to, the women that bear you?
The women that bring us into this world.
Exactly.
I don't understand it. I don't. That's crazy.
That's just.
It sounds beyond
hard.
painful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But that's the thing. They need to be educated on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of crazy stuff like that going on. Women get stoned to death in Afghanistan for cheating on their husbands. Stoned. Bury you up to your neck and then throw rocks at you until you die.
Oh my goodness.
That's how that's crazy.
And nothing happens to the men when they cheat because they're the man, right?
You're allowed to have multiple wives, so it doesn't matter.
But see, that's the thing. Usually people feel attacked when the subject of toxic masculinity is brought up because they actually don't really understand. First off, those people don't those males don't understand what toxic masculinity is, and then the women that bring it up, they have their own idealism of what that toxic masculinity is. But toxic masculinity is when you're oppressing your female counterparts, your woman counterparts, as well as setting the standards of what being a male should be.
Right.
Beating your wife if she talks to you a certain way, stoning her to death if she cheats on you. That's what toxic masculinity is.
Yeah. One thing.
Even talking about the toxic R. Kelly, we can even talk about him. He used to be slapping the women. I was watching these things, he was slapping the women around if they was if they would look at one of his the people that he worked for, or if they waved at one of his homies or something, he would slap them or some crazy shit. You not supposed to look at nobody.
I actually haven't even seen it.
I think I saw the first episode.
I think I think it's 4 parts.
Oh yeah, I heard it was 4 parts.
Yeah, I saw the first part of it, but I didn't see anything beyond that, so I wouldn't really be able to speak too much on it. But
right,
I've seen it.
It's some things you don't want to bring, especially if you don't know the full story, and of course with R. Kelly, I don't agree with none of that. Since like, you know, I found out about the Aaliyah thing at a young age, I haven't been a subscriber to his music. I haven't been supportive of his music and stuff. Like as a person, like that seems like that's nasty to me.
And then
But-
even my whole thing with that is like, why did it take y'all 20 years to tell us this stuff?
But that's the thing, we can't blame it on the victim because
No.
of course, like, you know, there's cases where the victims, they do speak out, but they get hushed on.
Yeah, nobody believes
No one,
them.
yeah, no one want, because of the person's status, no one wants to believe them.
There's so many.
But then you
It's
have
power.
to think about like,
Mhm.
okay, if they got hushed, then why wait 20 more years? Like the same thing happened with the Bill Cosby situation.
That's true.
You know, I think that is. I don't say that he didn't do what he did, because to be honest, anybody speaking out on it, you could be lying, you could be telling the truth. That's not my place to speak on it. But it has to be like an ulterior motive behind it. Because it seems that like whenever black men of power or black men that have some kind of
Influence.
yeah,
Mhm.
whenever it's something with them when they're trying to progress
This
or
is
when
the
they're trying
very
to
first
own rights to
CD
their
did.
own music,
Mhm.
or when they're even trying to buy a network, it's always something that gets dug up.
The
You know,
timing.
and for especially the Bill Cosby situation, you know, these women admitted they consented to the pills that he gave them. So how can you say that you're a drug if you agreed to take
My
it?
whole thing is, even like a lot of those cases, them women knew he was married, still went to his hotel room, and then got into all this stuff.
Right.
But you knew he was a married man, like you shouldn't even dealt with him. So I say that to say this, like you knew what you was going in there for, like you was doing it.
Because that's the thing, if you have the
Take-
knowledge of the person,
Yeah, you
and
was,
you're doing it for your career, that actually, like, you know, it makes people question your character. Like,
Yeah.
even though, like, you know, you are trying to preach your testimony and stuff, like, you know, that what you went through, it makes people question your character.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with
Yeah.
that.
I do feel though that sometimes it's a matter of topics being more like accessible, in a sense that some things over time you're able to express in public and actually get support for versus at a certain point in time. I'm not saying that that's the case for it, but
I mean, we
We
do
also-
have a lot of taboos now, like, you know, a lot of stuff that
Mhm.
isn't really, like, spoke on.
Yeah.
Or isn't, like, paid attention too much, you know, because if you look at, like, you know, an example, like, you know, some comedians, you know, their topics, you know, a lot of comedians usually will have, like, the same topics when it comes to jokes, and it's centered around what's going on or what's popular. So, like, you know, that's playing on the taboos, because, like, a lot of stuff isn't allowed to be spoken on.
Yeah.
So that's just how, like, you know, society is. So usually, like, you know, around the time that it is happening, you may not be able to convey it to people because it's not a right time, because no one really, like, pays attention to it. It's a taboo. Nobody really wanted to hear about it. But as time progresses, then you will be able to speak on it.
yeah.
So unfortunately, like, you know, that's just how everything is structured. That's how everything is set up. That's how, you know, the society is.
So when are we gonna talk about reparations? Cause
We've
yeah,
been talking about that forever.
I'm
We've been
I'm
talking about
saying
that
like,
forever.
hello.
You hear that, Bernie?
I don't-
Reparations.
I don't want to talk about reparations.
Reparations.
I think
you
we just
get
need to have a
reparations.
war.
Everybody
Clear
gets
student loans. Clear student loans.
Yes,
Clear away
please.
debt.
Take all the student
Yo,
loans.
just clear all the debt for black people. All student loans.
African
Free
too.
college.
Okay.
Of course. For melanated people.
Mhm.
Free college.
Well, then you're going to have a problem.
And then
because
also business loans.
they say everyone has melanin.
Yeah.
Now everybody
does.
wants to have that 2%, 10%, 3%. Oh Lord.
But as the original people, like, who do it better, you know? Who do it better? They're melanin now.
All right, so are you going to talk about yourself?
Okay. All right, so me, that's hard. Okay, so I started creating my company and pursuing a podcast because I've been meeting, like, a lot of like-minded people that, you know, I've instantly been connecting with, and we never really had an outlet to express ourselves on. So as far as my company, Midnight Entertainment, that's for people that's tired of the regurgitation of the same old comic books over and over again. They want new stories, they want new characters and everything. As far as the clothing, it is basically just to support people, to bring messages to people, to make people feel good about themselves. And then for the podcast, it took a while to actually pursuing everything, because I'm trying to get everything else together. But we need a platform to be able to express ourselves and connect on. So I ended up finding like-minded individuals that, though we come from different backgrounds, we're actually kindred souls. And we're able to sit here and sit down and have these discussions with one without even being mad at each other for our opinion, or just the way we look at things or how we view the world. And one thing I've always said is that that's the difference between a discussion and a debate, is that when you're debating, you're standing your ground. You really don't care what the other person had to say. You're just trying to say what is from your get your point across, go from your perspective and stuff. But when you're having a discussion, you're actually listening to the other people. I wanted to be able to sit here and reach other people that are feeling the same way but don't really have anyone to talk to, or or at a certain point in their journeys and actually need people to sit here and connect with and to speak with and reach out to. So that's why I do what I do. So thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And I also want to thank my lovely cast for joining me here today.
Thank you.
And be able to speak to everyone. And
awesome opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it. But that's Deep Rooted for today. I hope you enjoy it. Looking forward to the next time that we can sit down and have a discussion with you. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace.